Good day and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, before I begin with today's discussion in game, I just want to make a little bit of an announcement. So, the book series that I was talking about with the author is given a go ahead. He's going to be making a book. It's going to be based around Eve, but it's not going to have the actual storyline from Eve Echoes or from any other Eve game. It's going to mess around with four different characters. So currently, I've managed to find him one YouTuber who's in on being a character in the book. The reason is simple. He is going to give us the book to publicize across our channel, giving us some content for free basically. His writing schedule, he says, is going to be slightly off tune. It might be one chapter a week or it might be one chapter a month. Depends on how he's going through at the time. So that's going to be the basics on the book that's coming into the series. It's just going to be a off-topic video, basically, a story video for the game. It's just a little bit of fun. Currently, he just gave me a synopsis on the first chapter. The synopsis on the first chapter is this book starts 1,000 years before the factions become complete. That means we won't be hearing the names of any vessels from the game at current. The vessel types will still be there, but we're not going to hear like Caracal or Kanyu or different types of names from the vessels that we currently have. We might hear some new names that he's throwing out as his own creations, and the storyline revolves around us four YouTubers that he's going to choose or that I can get to join in on this, and we are actually going to be the bad guys in the story. So it's just a little bit of fun, and each one of us are basically going to lead to the entire system that we're currently playing in. So basically, it's a backstory outside of lore, just a little bit of a story holder type thing, and uh, that's going to be what's coming up. So let's get into this video. This video is going to be on selling gear in the market. Now, before I go on to the video itself, I'd like to ask you to please leave a like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. And if you dislike my video, please leave a comment as to where I went wrong. So let's get into where the video is supposed to go. So, starting up with selling equipment on the market. Now, before you try to sell any piece of equipment on the market, the first thing you're going to do is click onto your character tab, open the market tab for yourself, and you are then going to open out one of the filters. One moment, sorry about this. Okay, so you're going to open up the market. Now, wait for it to load, let everything load on the side, and I'm going to show you something because a lot of players don't notice this, and some players find that they don't have gear available even though you can find the gear on the market. And it makes it very difficult to communicate between two people when you're not on the same page. So, first thing is you're going to filter your market. So, you go on the top and you select filter. Now, you have three options here. All items mean regional and regional seller orders. And all items means that you will trade across every single region within the area. So basically, within New Eden, you can trade with just about anybody. So first thing you do is that. Now, before you sell any item, if you are going for private sale, it's generally because players want to have something cheaper. So if you're doing private sales, remember you have to be way cheaper than the market value of an item. Let me just give you an example, like going into a cruiser. If you're going for private sales on cruisers like the Caracal Navy issue, one moment, I think I hit it wrong. Yeah, I did hit it wrong. Like the Navy issue, you're gonna go into here and you're gonna look for the lowest value sale. Now, you aren't just going to be 500,000 less, and you're not going to be 5 million less. You're going to be something like 7 or 8 million less. That's because if you are building for resale, you are actually going around and farming the materials. For you, that is the bonus of this. The ship is actually going to cost you something like what was it, 40 million ISK. So you're paying 40 million ISK. All your resources that you've gathered is worth about another 5 million in raw gathering rates, and altogether it's just costing you 45 million, because you could go around and harvest all those materials anytime you want. It's a quick and easy thing. You're most probably stashing a ton of it on your bases in your caps, so you have the miners who hold it in your caps, and you're trading at very low rates within your corporations. If you aren't trading at low rates within your corporation, you aren't using your corp to the best of its ability, because those miners help the industry, and the industry helps the PVE. The PVE helps you get your materials. Your materials help you develop blueprints. Your blueprints help you get better ships for mining, better ships for PVE, better ships for industry. So that is the whole cycle within there. And basically, the reason why you always work cheap within your corp is because you can always help each other. So, like I said, it's going to cost you 40 million ISK. It's going to cost you materials. If you have somebody who's a farmer and they now want to try and make a little bit more, they can tell you, you know what, we want 3 naval caracals. So you're going to go in, you're going to build your caracal navy issues, 3 of them. It's going to cost you 120 million ISK. Remember, all the resources came from that very same farmer. So unlike when you're going to make a profit for yourself selling it at 70, 75 million, you are simply going to go for it at to your fellow guildmate at 50 million. That's about trade rate on those ships. The reason is you want to keep it as cheap as possible for your corp and expensive as possible when you're selling it out. So the moment you have private contracts with others, you're going to add another 10 to 20 million on. Keep yourself 10 million below market price. Simple reason behind it is when a player is looking for a private contract, they're looking for cheaper stuff. They're not looking to buy something more expensive. And if you match the market price, it's not worth it, because there's a risk involved with doing the trade with you. You can give them the wrong ship and you're not going to take it back. And on the market, you're choosing what you want. You just have to go to the sector with your pod, pick up the ship, and head back. Okay. Or you can actually just jump into an IBIS with all your gear, drop it in, set it up, and leave the sector with the ship, which is fully armed and ready to fight. So yeah, so that's the basics on just trading ships. Now let's get on to the better parts, the weapons. Now I have shown off the price of weapons going up and down, but how do you know where to sell your weapon and what price to sell your weapon? So let's go simply down to a Republic. Okay, wait, here's it. Challenger rapid missile launcher. The price is almost 10 million, right? And your Navy issue medium is. Okay, I'm just checking this price. If I'm correct, it'll be about 22 million. Right, 22 million. So what you're going to do when you're going to sell is you don't match these bottom two if you're selling on the market. If you're selling privately, obviously you're going to drop below because you want to get rid of it as fast as possible without dropping the market value of your item. That's the reason why you're private selling. So go down your list, look for the highest selling. So the highest is selling is 26 and the lowest is 22. So the perfect place for you to be is right here in the center with the 24 million sales. That means that you're going to get 24 million for a piece of gear that you just picked up from destroying another vessel. Now, obviously, if you want the higher issue weapons, you have to take higher issue missions. So you're risking a lot. You're gaining a lot if you succeed without taking the heavy risk. But if you fail at the risk, you're obviously failing to get what you need. So that's the way in which you sell items to make ISK. The next thing to note when it comes to selling and making profit of items on the market or through private contracts is on a private contract, you never ever go too low. Remember, when you're making private contracts, the whole idea is to trap someone in an area where you know they're going to be looking for it and they don't want to take the jumps all the way to Jita station. And you also don't want to take the jumps there to go and put the gear in because you know how bad traffic is entering into that sector. And at the busy times, you can push up your gear. Like, for example, the Challenger Medium, you can easily put it up to 20 million right now. And knowing that fleets are going to start running in the next 5 hours and people are going to start getting destroyed, hit PvP'd, they're going to try and rebuild their fleets as fast as possible. You know they're going to go for the cheapest gear they can find. And they're going to finish up all the cheap rapid missile launchers in the Challenger edition. They're going to finish all the cheap ones in the Navy edition, and that's where you score. Selling it at that solid 20 million, you making double what you should ever make on that weapon, and it's because you've chosen the right slot of price for that time. Remember, if you're in the weekday ratters and PvP players aren't really that heavy on losses. If you're running around in the week without a fleet, you're most probably running a cheap setup or a setup that you have an excess of 5 or 6 pairs at base to repair. So always keep that in mind when you're going through with purchasing materials and setting it up. Now, the next thing to remember is we haven't received any more insurance certificates. We haven't received any more login rewards. I'm not sure if they are going to send out a second set of login rewards or whether we're going to get a late pack with all of the login rewards. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Uh, I'm not sure if this game keeps a login reward every day so that players stay constant on the game. Okay, now going on with the whole selling loot on the market. The next thing to remember is you get players who are farming up bases and raising up the levels of sectors. Now, the reason why you raise the level of a sector is so you can rat out strong inquisitors, strong scouts. And what do you get from strong inquisitors and scouts? You get drones, you get blueprints, you get data cores, and that's what everybody is after. Now, even though I am not on the side of everybody who says don't destroy bases, I can't see a reason to keep a base around. If you enter into a sector and you notice that 6 or 7 guys are farming around, killing every single one of the small little anomalies, stay away from the base. Because if you piss off a big enough corp who's decided to push up the level to level 4 or level 5 and managing to climb up through those levels for their sector, if you go and interfere with their base and destroy that base, trust me, they're going to destroy your ship. And you could even cause a war with your alliance if you're in an alliance to get there. Because the alliance will literally tell you why in the world are you going and interfering with another corp's anomalies. Because you can see they're doing it, you can see they're raising the level. You're not just going to jump to a base first. Because that's like the most pointless move you can ever make. Jumping to the base first, cleaning the base, then nothing else is going to spawn and you're just going to clean the sector and jump out. And then the sector might as well turn into a PvP sector because there's no anomalies left. And that's generally what's going to happen if you rep the wrong way. So remember, when selling equipment, make sure you have the right markup on your items. Don't trust the recommended selling price. As I said, they're going to start updating, they haven't. Look at it right now. This one here says recommended price is 1 million. Average price over here is well over 12, if I'm correct. No, average price is about 9.5. But that's the whole beauty of it. Nobody is selling higher. And look at the price that they're recommending, 1 million. It's nowhere near what it's actually selling for. They haven't taken into account how players have been changing their playstyles and what they have been purchasing. Let's look at this. Effortless. Cheap. I'll just buy a ton of this and stash it away for a rainy day. Because I run long range missiles most of the time. I do need some rapids, but I'm going to farm it up when I go through the rest of my missions. I've joined a new corp recently, so I'm going to give them a try, see how it goes, and hopefully this will be the last corp that I join in the game and lead up till the point where I no longer need to change corps again. Now, when it comes to upgrading gear, a lot of players tell you don't fly with anything you can't risk losing. And I agree with that. But here's something else you need to take into consideration. When you're flying around between missions, make sure you have backup gear, because purchasing gear off the market all the time isn't the best. If you decide you want to be part of a ratting fleet, have a backup plan set up at your base, have a backup plan set up at your secret location base outside from your main sector. Because remember, like I said yesterday when I was talking about running a fleet with the correct setup, you can literally tear an entire corporation to pieces just because they coming at you in small numbers instead of them coming at you in a fleet which is matching you in strategy and docking somewhere else. So the safest thing for them to do would be to put themselves, launch out to get to their secret location in the high sec, because as I said, in high sec when you attack you become red and everybody can hit you, and with the high populations in high sec you get something like 300 players. By the time you reach the gate you're definitely going to be dead. Plus there's automated heavy fire weapons. They can five shot a battle cruiser, not a battle cruiser, a battleship from what I heard. So if you're riding around in anything, even a super tank build, you're gonna get five shot out of the way, and your shield is gone. You're gonna take massive armor damage. By the time the portal opens, you're gonna be potted, and you're gonna be jumping around as a pod. So there is the risk with overdoing your limit on trying to take on a high sector with your fleet at the moment. So remember, when it comes to this whole thing, keep your gear safe. Now, if you are in a low sec or a null sec corp, make sure that you keep some gear at your null sec. Remember, you can always help them in a fight. If you're someone like me, I have two trainer caracals. My one caracal is going to be stationed at the null sec corp where we're based, and my other trainer is going to be situated at my secret location, which isn't a secret location. I'm even willing to show where it is. My secret location is right there at the top. Sarakua, whatever it's called. But I'm situated all the way up here on the top, and I am safe and secure. There's nobody who's going to come in and try and take me. I'm in a .8 sector. Generally, the population over here is well over 200. So you're welcome to bring your entire corp of 150 people into the sector, engage, and have your entire corp turn red against 200 people. Yeah, maybe some of you can take on two at a time, but you're going to be as vulnerable as an anomaly, which is. Have you ever run into. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to phrase this, but have you ever run into an anomaly where there's like 20 ships flying around and you just see these massive vessels that normally would take forever for you to take down? They just disappear. 2-3 hits basically from everybody and they're gone. Or you don't even get to hit them and they're disappearing. Because everybody is hitting so quick that not one ship is surviving one after the other. And you get lucky to just touch one ship out of their entire encounter. Your bounty just skyrockets through the roof, and everybody from there just jumps onto the next and the next and the next. And you'll see that entire sector, even if it's T7, when there's such an overpopulation of people on anomalies, you'll see that even you got T8, maybe even T10, you'll just see that they just start disappearing one after the other, because you can't really cope with massive numbers. Even if you 10 against 30, 30 is going to tear you to pieces when it comes to players, because players can play strategies, players can play distance, players can play close range, players can have unpredictable gear on themselves, they can have warp disruptors, they can have mini warp drives on their ships, they can have anything that you can get in the game. They could even webify you and stun your small little frigates. You lose your frigates, you lose most of your movability in the fight. And that's the thing, when you're going into those high corps, you're definitely going around with frigates. And a lot of players do run webifiers. I normally love running a webifier. My one ship right now is running double Norse. And the only reason for that is I figured that with my increase in shield power, I can run a rapid fire or torpedo challenges and go right into the ship, blow them to pieces, and get out of there. And it's been working well for me. I completed for Patriotism the other day in 2 hours. Now, for me, that was a big win, because for Patriotism took me almost 12 hours previously, and it took me about 8 hours after that the next time that I soloed it, and I lost my ship once in it when I did it in 8 hours, and this time it took me 2 hours, 0 losses, 0 docks. That means that I'm becoming more efficient with my gameplay style, and running the defense rigs over the attack rigs helped me out big time. I took out that insufferable, unbeatable elite Momoa, which comes and chases you around the map, which you hit it and its shield barely even goes down. I tore right through it like it wasn't there with torpedo launchers. I jumped in at 2 kilometers to it. It was hitting me quite hard. My shield was just regenerating non-stop, draining it of power, and its shield just flew off like it wasn't there. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed my little rant on what to do when selling loot, and the little tips on the fleeting and the best options for you. Remember, stay away from the bases where you see there are full teams running around, especially when the base numbers are high. If you're in a sector with a base number 1 or base number 2, go ahead, kill the base. Doesn't really hurt anybody at base 1. You can just restart in an hour and nobody's really going to notice the difference. But if you're going into a sector and you see a base 10 or base 5, don't be an idiot and don't go and attack the base, because if you get caught attacking the base, or if someone figures out that you're someone else jumping into the anomalies in that sector and the base disappeared, the entire fleet is going to hunt you down and destroy you. They might even destroy you over an anomaly which you're busy fighting. And that might even be in high sec or low sec. So don't be stupid about it. And you could cause a war with your entire corp against them, or your entire alliance against this corp or this alliance of players. So that's going to be it. Thank you for watching.